Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's reads. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. The YouTube channel is James13 Wicca, in case you're seeing this somewhere else. For the main part of the read, I'm using the tarot deck, Gilded Tarot Royale by Ciro Marchetti, text by Barbara Moore. On the bottom here, assuming I get this right, it's Llewellyn.com is where this one came from anyway, and there's a couple other socials if you're interested. Supportive Oracle Cards, Chakra Wisdom Oracle Cards by Tori Hartman, illustrated by Gretchen Ray Baskin? Yeah. Watkins Publishing is the website, watkinspublishing.com, I believe. And I think there's a website for Tori Hartman too in that black little strip above the barcode. Feel free to check that out if you're interested. The dice are from the Dice Shop. The website is mathartfun.com if you want to check them out. I use a 22-sided dice for the major arcana, 22 substitutes for 0 for the fool, 14-sided dice for the minor arcana, and a 4-sided dice for the element to match for the minor arcana. That being said, if you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. And let's go ahead and get into your reading. Hello, Taurus. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Taurus? So you got the Six of Swords at the top, which is moving on from difficult energy usually, moving into better waters. I'm like, why am I so slow with putting these down? No, stop. Stop it. Just stop. Okay. The first thought I'm getting is make sure you give yourself some credit. Make sure you give yourself some credit. You have put best foot forward. You've made decisions the best you could, looking for the best outcome. You've tried to help as best you could. Because I think this is going to be one of those things where it's kind of like you've been putting your effort into something for the longest time, and it wasn't going where you wanted it to ultimately. And then I feel like you're going to look back and be like, oh no. But if people aren't giving you information, or, it doesn't seem right, or it doesn't make sense, or they're not giving you the full picture, let's remember that. If somebody doesn't give you the full picture so you can make the best decision, it's difficult. Like, you make the best decision with what you're given. If we just keep that in mind. Because I don't think this is going to go bad, but I keep looking. I feel like I'm going to look back and being like, why did I do that? Why did I do this? Why did I do this? And not realizing that you were not given the full picture. And when you're not given the full picture, it's not fair to expect you to make the best decision, especially if somebody kind of hid it from you, which I'm not exactly sure what's going on here. But I'm getting like the Magician comes in with the Four of Pentacles, half in, half out. And I feel like this is an outside influence. Somebody wanted you to do something, and you were very helpful, and you adhered to your responsibilities. In my opinion, when I think of Taurus, they're about responsibility all day, all night, and they take that extremely seriously. And somebody gave you information, and the Four of Pentacles, half in, half out, was like, they told you what they needed to tell you to get what they wanted from you. And I feel like, especially because Taurus tends to be busy, especially if this is part of a chaotic situation, you may be very well aware that you don't have the luxury to sit there and mull it over. You make the best decision in the moment, and you keep moving forward, which is another reason where I feel like you might end up looking back thinking, why did I make that decision? Because you might have a hard time remembering you weren't given all the information. So, because especially if it's a chaotic, fast-moving thing, you did the best with what you could in the moment. Because I feel like this is where this is going. Even though it doesn't have a bad ending, it's not really going into a very bad place. I just keep feeling like I'm scrutinizing, or I'm attacking myself a little bit, thinking I could have made a better decision. Why didn't I? So this is where it's starting from, because things are about to snap in a different direction. It's actually good. I just feel like I don't like that this played out this way. But again, I feel like somebody didn't tell you the truth about something, because the Death card comes in, which is a very random card, and then the Page of Wands comes in, another random energy backing it up. Things change pretty quickly. Are things being taken out of your control? Maybe temporarily. Something comes in really fast. There's cards backing it up over here. I'll show you in a minute. I'm like nervous about it. Okay, yeah. So it's, was it Pentacles? 9 of Pentacles, half in, half out. The Sun card. It doesn't feel right though. I don't feel like I like it. Things come in really quickly. Something better is happening here. I feel like temporarily. I think it's more temporarily. We gotta get a little bit farther down the line. I feel like this situation is taken from you, or like the control or whatever I was doing. It's like, I don't know. I almost feel like I'm getting evicted from my house, and I didn't even realize that was a thing. I'm like, what? Like, I'm out. Like, what? And I feel like it's something like that, or like something changes drastically really fast, and the control is taken right from me, and I don't really like it. But at the same time, I'm like, it doesn't matter if I like it, and I know that. I got to keep moving. I got other people depending on me, so I don't have time here to sit and feel bad about it. Got to keep moving. Don't have that luxury to sit here and mull it over. Got to keep moving. I got a lot of responsibilities. Just because this fell apart doesn't mean I can't do it. I got to keep moving. And it's the miracle coming in saying it doesn't feel good at first, but it's going to be good. It's going to be good. And I feel like I have to move forward. I got 2 cards, like the 6 of Swords and then the 8 of Cups. I have things I got to do. I have responsibilities. I have to help. And I know that this is important. I just can't sit it out. I can't just go, well, I'm done and walk away. I can't do that. I have responsibilities. I'm going to get things done. I don't like this, but I got to do what I got to do. So the situation keeps going. It keeps churning. When I say it doesn't feel good, I don't think I have the ability to slow down enough to feel really bad about it. I mean, I'm not saying you're feeling good about it. Clearly you're not. But I don't have that type of time. I just don't have that type of time to do that. There's the next level coming in where somebody else does take control for sure. I'm feeling that. If this reading is hitting, somebody else is taking control. And it's the Knight of Swords along with the King of Swords. And then the Strength card reversed. You don't have to accept this person's ruling. Okay. But you have to work within the confines. Okay, so you don't have to accept it, but you got to work within the confines. I feel like I'm missing something with this. Because I feel like there's a problem here that, again, we're not getting the full story. And I feel like that's the part where, like, you don't have to accept this person's ruling, because you need to know, even if the ruling is going to stand, you got to find out the deeper pieces of here. Like, something's missing. There's pieces of this puzzle. It just reminds me of, like, looking at the structure of a house and not realizing that there's a wall missing that was adding a lot of stability to the structure. And just, I'm not familiar with this house, or there's something about this I don't realize that was a main support. For whatever reason, I just didn't realize that was missing. And I need to get that information to realize, oh, that's missing. No wonder we're having all these problems. No wonder this is happening and that's happening, because this wasn't built correctly. I need to question it. There are allies, there are support. This Knight of Fire energy is coming in, which is like, I don't feel like this is a long-term connection, but there are people who can step forward and get you going in the right direction. There are people here who are just more haphazard, if I will, but like they can open doors and show you where to look and give you information for you to build on and for you to like verify. Like, this can be a good energy, kind of like, oh, I can open this door, or oh, look over here, or oh, I've heard this over here, or oh, I know about that, to where you can start building something and kind of like, all right, I heard this from the Knight of Wands, let me see if I can verify it. Let me see if I can do something with it. They gave me something to start with. Let me see where I can take it. Because the quest comes from there. If you just kind of accept it, I feel like that's where I get the Tower card. You don't have to have this outcome. If I just accept the ruling without looking deeper, for some reason, if I don't feel like I have an option, that's where I get the Tower card. But if I not so much challenge it, but kind of like, let me look at it, let me get a little deeper, let me figure out why. What am I missing? What is this piece of the foundation that's not there that should be? I need to know that. There will be some help that's not really your flavor, but still very helpful that you can build on. Kind of like, they're saying this, let me go look here, let me go look there. They're saying that, let me go look a little deeper and see if that makes sense. A quest card comes in. That's kind of like the advice to where to take this. If you want, it's an idea. It's the idea. You could possibly do that. Readings for entertainment purposes only. You know how that goes. This is where we get into that level of like second guessing and looking back and like, why did I do that and all the other stuff. Because I feel like you might come back into control of the situation. There's more stress added here when I find out the other pieces, but then I have to realize that there's certain information that was being hidden from you the whole time. Even if somebody haphazardly mentioned it, and maybe they can even prove it like, oh, look, Taurus, I mentioned it in this text. And maybe you didn't see it, or maybe you didn't realize what they were talking about, or the way that they just slipped it by you, especially if things were chaotic. You know what I mean? You got a lot going on. I just feel like this isn't fair. You wouldn't have made the certain decision you did if that information was fairly given to you. It reminds me of, like, I have a friend, and like people ask her questions when she's in the middle of doing 3 other things, and then she gives an answer, and then she just keeps going, and she doesn't have any memory of the question, and it's kind of like, well, of course she doesn't, because she's doing 3 other things. She's very busy. She's got a lot going on, and if you ask her a question in the middle of that, she'll give you a quick answer, but then she goes on. She's not going to remember what she told you, especially if you ask her like, oh, can we meet a week from Tuesday at this time at this place? And she's like, oh, sure, I can do that. And then maybe she does write it down, but she forgets that she even wrote it down because she's doing 3 other things. Like, keep that in mind. If you're in the middle of stuff and you're very busy, it's unrealistic for somebody to just throw things at you when they want to. You know what I mean? Certain things didn't go well in this situation. Don't get held in grief. Don't get held in guilt. You could consider this. I'd look back at the people who were giving you the information and kind of pay attention to, like, are they the type that, like, they constantly do that to you? They ask you when you're very busy. Do they do that just once in a while? I would kind of like, where did the information come from, and just kind of like maybe evaluate where the information was coming from and how do they normally, do they do this to you a lot? So, like, or when you're really the most busy, is that when they have all the chatter, questions? Do they purposely do that for whatever reason, so that way you can't rebuttal or, change or, like, question things? They don't want to answer your questions, so they purposely wait till you're busy so that you won't have time to ask them questions. Like, I would kind of look back and kind of maybe consider scrutinizing it a little bit, like where the information's coming from, and not like beat yourself up like, why didn't I make a better decision, but versus like, okay, wait, where is this coming from? Are people like feeding it to me in a purposeful way so that they can kind of slip through and do what they want without me stabilizing the situation, because they know if I hear it and I hear it correctly, I'm going to be like, wait a minute, no, we're not going to do that. You know what I mean? Do they wait for their opportunity to get what they want so that, I'm too busy to really slow it down and really go, wait a minute, we should do that differently. That's not going to make sense. That's the advice to do with this. The situation is going well, but I keep feeling like Taurus, the people who are going to hit this Taurus reading and really connect with it, keep looking back like, oh, why did I do that? Why didn't I make this decision? I feel like that's not fair, because the way it came towards you, the way it was kind of filtering in, it's unrealistic for you to, like, if everything's chaotic and you're busy and they ask you something like that, you got so many responsibilities you're balancing, it's just not fair. And again, I would evaluate those relationships or where this information had come from, and kind of like update that in your thought process, in the sense of like, wait a minute, these people or this person or this situation feeds this to me in a certain way. I have to find a way to like put that on pause, or at least have some type of document, or tell these people they have to send it to me in an email, so later I can look back and be like, wait a minute, let me reread this, because this things here have gone wrong with this person or with this situation before. Let me just take a minute to reread it to make sure where I think this is going is actually where this is going. Are we good? Alright, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.